See, the fact of the matter is, we we've been living under an unnatural law, a fake law written by mankind for so long. We forgot the natural law, the righteous laws, because we've been imitating the fake God, not the real God. So for those people who say, well, I don't know how really it was back in them, I wasn't back there. But your ancestors was back there. How do knowledge get passed down? Knowledge and your culture get passed down through your ancestors, through your forefathers, through your mothers and fathers, your grandmothers, your great-grandmothers. At one time, we wasn't writing knowledge down. We had what you call griots, who spoke the history, and they had to speak it right. If they didn't speak it right, they might get killed or tongues cut out or anything. So they had to speak it. Don't add nothing to it, take away nothing. They had to speak your history right. And the pyramids, we put the knowledge on the walls of the pyramids. In the Bible, you got the writing on the walls. So you don't believe that. So right now, if you look up the Dogon tribe, look up the knowledge of the Dogons, on YouTube. The Caucasian discovered, you know how he talk, he discovers everything. But he went over there and around Egypt, somewhere near Egypt, in Kemet, ancient Kemet, so-called ancient Kemet. Well, not so-called, but ancient Kemet, because it had many prior names. And back in the 20s, I think, 1920, and was discovering the pyramids or studying the pyramids. And he ran across the Dokans, and they told him about the Sirius star system. They call it the dog star, the red and blue star. And this puzzled the Caucasian, because the Caucasian knew that they looked like a primitive people. They didn't have instruments, telescopes, or any kind of instrument to even see that star system. So, but yet still, when they developed the telescope, they could beam in on the Sirius star, found out it was a sun bigger than our sun. It dwarfed, it was a giant to our sun. Our sun was a dwarf compared to the Sirius sun. And they've been talking about this for the last almost 100 years now. And they, in their culture, they have these storytellers, or they pass down their history through this one that's get chosen. He's elected, and they give ceremonies and showing how the star system came about, and they pass it down vocally. It's not written down nowhere. And this is done every generation. They choose a different one, or when his term is over with, another one comes and take his place when they die out, or however it works. I'm not sure how the culture works, but it's like that. Now, your mother and father history goes back to the so-called New World, the America. We were slaves. We wasn't even speaking this American language. English. We weren't speaking English. And we passed down our history vocally, but we also had it written down too. In the Library of Alexandria, other libraries, places over in Asia is on the walls, in India is on the walls. Pyramids, South America, statues. Our history is physically recorded through statues and walls of pyramids, even in walls of caves. But the Caucasian don't know how to interpret it. So he fills in the gaps with whatever he wants to fill it with to throw you off. But don't forget, he made you your forefathers during the time of slavery. He forbid them to speak their language. He forbid them to play their music. Because in the music was the history, the real history of the black man. The language, he forbid them to speak the language. Even in your names, he didn't want you to carry your name because your history was in the culture of your name. See, your history is your culture. The culture is your knowledge of self. And so after so many generations, you forget about who you really are. And then you have to go to his school system, and he further brainwashes you out of the culture of yourself. So this is how history gets passed down. It was in the Bible, the scriptures. So he seen it was in the scriptures. So he tried to confound the history in the Bible. Even in the Quran, he altered it. Even in the Torah, he altered it. And then when Master Farad came and gave the true history to Honorable Elijah Muhammad, after 1975, some of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's writings was altered. Even some of the supreme wisdom lessons was kind of altered. Some left out. Sometimes there's some things are added in, but the wisdom still gets through to the ones that are chosen, who are alert. So it's natural for the mother and the father to teach you the history, centuries and centuries of your history, except in this day and time, they're trying to cut us off from who we are. That's why y'all don't believe nobody, because they got you spooked up on Disneyland. I'm Black Light, telling the truth, passing the mic.